Podcasting from somewhere in the San Francisco Bay Area, the birthplace of Bruce Lee, the iPhone, and the bendy straw. This is Ruel's Running Podcast, a podcast about running, health, family, play, and an NSNG lifestyle. And now, here's your host, Ruel.
There was a dream a million miles away. There was fire in
Amazon.com. You know, I won't be surprised if more and more stuff that I shop for, buy, and get shipped to my home comes from Amazon. It's just a reality, right? And if this is your reality, go to ruelsrunning.com, click through to the Amazon banner to get to Amazon. Why am I asking you to do so? Well, it is a no-cost-to-you way. If you like listening to Ruel's Running Podcast, it is a way that you can help the show out without spending more than you've already spent while shopping at the good folks at Amazon.com. So help us out. Go to ruelsrunning.com, click through to the Amazon.com site, and shop, connect, and enjoy. Hey friends, how's it going? Hey enemies, how's it going too? It's Rue. How are you? If you are a new listener and don't know what you're getting into, be very afraid. If you are a return listener who has hey guys, I think I might be coming down with something because I've had a bunch of folks at work not doing too good. They've been trying to stay away, trying to keep folks from catching whatever they got, and they've been doing a great job. But I think I'm finally catching something because I've been sneezing a lot, and something's been tickling my nose, and I've been sniffling. It's funny, but I can still smell pretty good because I was I had done a train ride recently, and I complained about, at least in my mind, I complained, hey man, somebody farted up in this train. That's me complaining to myself. And so I was jealous because I wish it was me. And then so I let one silently go, and then I was good. Yeah, scratchy, scratch. So, anyways, guys, I'm feeling good. I think, despite the sniffles, I'm feeling good that I'm trying to make a little headway, make a little traction, trying to get back into the groove with the podcast. I ain't gonna lie. It doesn't come second nature, and I feel like that I'm just rolling, and I had a recent brief conversation with Vinny Tortorich. He asked how the podcast was doing, and I didn't hesitate, didn't flinch, and I was like, I put some words in there, and he's like, oh, okay, that's great. I'm like, well, just like I mentioned, I'm just trying to get back in the swing of things, my mind had been not only occupied by things around the holidays, but things around life change and job change, but things are much better than they were then. Now, things are much better now. And so, yeah, trying to get into a new role, a new swing, a new pattern, behavior of when I can record, how I'm going to record, still experimenting. It's like the podcast has been around for 2 years, and it's this constant experimentation, recording. God, I remember when I started this thing, and if anybody's listened to the very beginning, I didn't know how to approach talking to a microphone. And it wasn't even a microphone. It was into a MacBook computer, right? It would be late at night, right? I would put the computer on the couch, and everyone would be up in bed in the bedroom, and I would just have the quiet to myself. But I didn't want to wake anybody up, and I would turn on the recording feature on a GarageBand, and I would talk towards the computer, but I would kind of talk, and do all this reflection and have all this stuff to say. You know what I'm talking about if you go to the very beginning. And it felt kind of weird. There's nobody around, and I'm talking, and it's trying to make something out of the act of just, confessing to this electronic equipment. And it was a weird thing, and now it's just kind of normal to talk into a digital device. But yeah, and I've shifted from that to talking into a digital portable handheld recorder, and just transferring it over into the computer and get it edited there. Or I do Skype to Skype calls and have an app on the computer, just save those conversations and do the editing again. I can't say editing for some reason. Yeah. Then I started fiddling with I did the handheld mic for a long time. I started fiddling with an iPhone app called Boss Track Studio, and with it I can't do any Skype call recording or anything like that. Just record my nonsense, and I can add the intros and the outros and all that other audio stuff. I can get it all wrapped up into a single recording and sent to the podcast host and all that jazz. Yeah. And then that's what I'm doing right now. And recently, if you heard on a couple episodes back, I started fiddling with a legit mic, an XLR mic. I have it on a little rinky-dink mixer hooked up to the computer, and I'm just testing new setups out. And I'm trying to figure out through that setup how I can feed in a phone call or a Skype call. And there are ways. It's just, that involves me sitting down somewhere in my house under the right conditions, and the right conditions mean it's quiet and the kids aren't running around screaming and crying and other background noise, So I've got that, just not doing a whole lot with it. Now I'm starting to think about other alternative ways to remote record, but remote record calls and Skype conversations. It's got to be a way, but it's probably gonna mean investing in a few more pieces of equipment. But I think I've got the major equipment in place. I've got, I'm envisioning, if there isn't any other way and it involves two devices, I can roll with two devices, one iPhone and one iPad. Get the right connectors and yada yada. Well, we'll see. But yeah, that's that. Talk to Vinny. I was like, He's like, oh, if there's anything I can do, I can always count on Vinny. Trying to do some stuff in the background for Vinny, and I try to help out as much as I can. And support the NSNG movement on the Facebook group, and it's all good. It's all good. That's me slapping my leg. Sorry. So anyways, let's get on with it. So, I want to talk about a recent trip to the dentist. Not me, because God forbid I go to the dentist and get a proper checkup. I have not been to the dentist for over 10 years. Maybe even 20, something along those lines. But yeah, recent trip to the pediatric dentist for one of my kids. And we're at a point where the kids are starting to get old enough to be okay with the dentist. Be okay. Well, that's not true. I'm lying. I have 3 kids. One is okay going to the dentist and getting his exam, doing his visit without me having to be by his side. The other 2 are yet to be at that point. I still have to, they're still too young, and they're still too scared. Anyways, so my oldest had a dental appointment, and it's cool. He goes in, does his thing, and we check in, and the gal, we'll call her Sarah, she, we do the typical greet, good morning type greet, because it was on a weekend, and it was in the morning. And somehow she brought up that she's okay and that she had pizza for breakfast. And she's young, and I said, as you should. What young adult would not enjoy an occasional cold pizza for breakfast every now and then? And then she continued to say, I didn't ask her anything else. She just continued to say things like, I'm just getting tired of egg whites. Right? And immediately I said, why would you do that? Why would you just have egg whites? And I know why. I just want to hear her say why. And basically she has this trainer friend, or this trainer, who told her that she should be having up to 3 egg whites for her breakfast, and so that she wouldn't put on any weight or anything like that. I'm like, yeah, he means well, I said, but that's just old information that isn't true, that we found to not be true. We, meaning as people of this planet Earth, Nanu. I basically said, and here's why. Do you not like the egg yolk? She seemed okay with it. I said, well, we have found that a whole egg has, is it like a complete protein? You know how proteins are this whole set of, there's a whole set of these proteins in food, and when you've got them all, they're complete. But if eggs aren't complete, they're the closest thing to it, and it's all packaged into one little food, an egg. And so I said, yeah, save your money, stop wasting your eggs, enjoy the yolk, maybe just crack 1 egg or 2, and and then quickly the conversation went into something like, I've been paying attention to this sort of thing with food for a good number of years. I wasn't saying that I'm an expert and I'm a nutritionist or I'm this and that. Just, everybody should have some level of attention to what they're eating, and rather than, and it's been talked about on this podcast many times around food, that I through podcasts, through books, I've found out more about food than I'd ever know if I had just relied on the food guidelines that are promoted by the government or an institution like a school or an employer or a health organization like a medical group, So I went on to say real quick, if you want to know more about where I'm coming from and why I say that your trainer is following, information that is found to not be true, I just gave her one book. I said, check out Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It by Gary Taubes. So for you, the listener of the podcast, who happen to be new and don't know where I'm coming from, that's a book that I subscribe to, as far as what is said there. And that book and many other books are linked on the website at ruelsrunning.com. Click on the resources link to get to that page, and I keep saying it episode after episode that I would update it, but I haven't. I apologize. I eventually will. I'll update the whole dang site as soon as I can get my stuff together. But yeah, left her with that, and by that time it was time to fill out a quick questionnaire and get my son checked in to his appointment. And when I was doing that, I realized, we've had previous visits here where I've talked about, NSNG, and it kind of surprised them that, there's that way of eating, there's that lifestyle where you can be healthy and thrive and by avoiding sugars and grains, right? So, I think it would be cool, and I think it is my hope, that, all of us who, especially folks that subscribe to Vinny's No Sugar, No Grains lifestyle, when we drop little pointers or hints to folks without having to get into a great rant or conversation or preachy, I like to think that it's enough to get folks curious that they can do their own research and find out what really would work for them, and find out why there is this alternative, which I call really the real way that people should be eating. But who am I to say? I am not an expert, and everybody is different, but that's just me thinking that everybody is essentially the same. So that was that. My kid's teeth are fine. He's got no cavities. He had a panoramic X-ray done, and I was kind of blown away at the landscape of his mouth with all the teeth and all the teeth that are up and coming. I was just freaking out. I was like, whoa, that's kind of impressive. And stuff that the dentist folks kind of see regularly. It's not surprising to them. He does have an issue where one of his upper front teeth, his baby tooth, one of them is still there, and it needs to come out. It's a little bit wiggly, but it's not super wiggly. It needs to come out because it's basically backed up his permanent tooth for that position. And I want to just yank the thing out, and he is scared, and the dentist didn't take it out then and there because my son is apprehensive. He's got anxieties, and so we've scheduled him for an appointment in the future. If in case he doesn't get the tooth out on his own, that next appointment will be to get that thing pulled out. And I don't want to do that appointment because it's going to be $100-something to get done, because it's going to mean getting some laughing gas, getting the extraction, doing the deductible and all that jazz. And to me, that's just crazy. I come from an upbringing where you just had bad teeth at some point, and teeth just can wiggle and come out on their own. And I also had a father who got really sloshed at one evening and dealt with a toothache on his own by taking a pair of needle-nose pliers. He was his own dentist. Kind of gnarly. As a kid, watching my dad sit on the Lazy Boy recliner, with a pair of needle-nose pliers, cursing at himself and dealing with himself, but he got it done, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. All right, carry on, play with my toys. So, I'm not saying that my son should be inebriated and I should just hand him a pair of needle-nose pliers, but I said, you know what, let's just keep wiggling it, and let's see where it goes. I mean, what comes of it? And then if we can get it really good and wiggly, we will just do a little tug with a little thread, and and he'll be surprised at how easy it is to remove a wiggly tooth that is ready to be removed. So that's that. That is a little bit of food and family and dental health, I suppose, or dental unhealth chat. Awesome. And another note on things dentistry and orally. And I've talked about it before on the podcast where, yeah, you've heard me say that I haven't been to the dentist for over 10 years. And I'm fine with that. I've found that I think an improved diet changes your oral health, and I can't prove it. I'm not, again, I'm not an expert in any way, but it only makes sense to me that if I eliminate sugars, if I eliminate grains, and if I consume nutritious foods, whole foods, that not only do I cut down the overall body inflammation, and I've seen improvements in my health over time with the minimization of migraines and skin issues and weight loss and all that stuff. But gum health improves. So I think that, the body is getting what it needs, tissue is getting stronger, and other things like that, and things that need to get repaired has what it needs to repair. So things like my teeth are not what they used to be when I was in my early 20s. In my early 20s, it felt like my teeth were about to fall off. It felt like my teeth were all wiggly and loose. So, here I am in my 40s, and that isn't the case. And the only time I feel like I have issues with my teeth is the occasional sort of toothache when I indulge in something that is really sweet, which makes sense. But for the most part, no. And I think the only problem that I have with my teeth is that all the years of coffee indulgence has taken its toll on it, if you know what I mean. And them pearly whites ain't pearly whites. So I envy my children and their teeth, because their teeth are just like as white as the driven snow. No, but you know what I mean. Not tarnished by coffee and tea and all that stuff over years. But in time it will, and they'll be where I'm at. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah.
Coming up, Rue gives us something else to think about. How vague is that, Ruel? Geez. Could you be any vaguer, Ruel? Well, it's all coming up on Ruel's Running. Okay, the book is called Eat Happy, Gluten-Free, Grain-Free, Low-Carb Recipes for a Joyful Life by me, Anna Vicino. Eat Happy has 154 delicious grain-free, gluten-free recipes that are also free of any processed sugars. There are meats, fish, sides, soup, starters, casseroles, slow cooker recipes, breakfast dishes, and even desserts to satisfy any sweets craving you might have, all with virtually no sugar. If you are low-carb, paleo, are wanting to keep autoimmune issues at bay, or just want to lose extra weight, Eat Happy gives you comfort food where you won't miss the sugars or grains, so your body and brain can feel happy from eating real foods. Okay, go get it then. Now's your chance. Yay! Yay!
Hey guys, so I've talked about it before and I try to not give too much detail, but today I may give a little bit more detail. And it's about running, and I know I don't talk about running that often on a podcast that has running in its title. What gives, Rue? But yeah, today is one heck of a rainy day here in the Bay Area, in the San Francisco Bay Area, and it's also windy and cold. And today I'm looking to do a midday run in San Francisco, in the city, and it's not going to be fun. I know that the wind is gonna make its mark, and the rain is gonna do its thing, and I'm gonna have to make sure that I don't slip and fall on top of a homeless guy and get run over by traffic. So yeah, it'll be an urban trail midday run. So why do I do that? Why do I want to do that when it doesn't seem ideal? And it isn't ideal, but it is ideal. I am expecting it to be cold and wet out on my race this month. And I don't have a whole lot of time to get the exposure, the wind and the rain and the cold. So out on a run, so I have to take advantage of it in the city. So that's the plan. I've got my gear. It's not a whole lot of gear. It's just stuff to dress down on, and yeah, and get uncomfortable with the elements. But yeah, I've got a trail run to do, a trail race. First race ever since 2011. It's for those who are interested, and maybe you guys are in the vicinity, maybe you guys are going to participate, and maybe we may see each other, which would be great because you can pick up my rotting carcass off of the trail and get me back home. It is a race that's called the Chabot Trail Run, and the folks at InsideTrail.com organize it, or Inside Trail Racing. Yeah, it's at the Lake Chabot Regional Park in Castro Valley, California. Yep. They've got a 5K, 10K, half marathon, 30K, and a 50K, and the 50K start is at 8:30 in the morning. And I signed up for that 50K as a way to do harm to myself in a cool, fun way that I don't often get to do. And as a little description, this is off of the Inside Trail website. Lake Chabot Regional Park was established in the 1960s after the reservoir had been closed to recreational use for 91 years. Today, the lake remains as an emergency water supply and is open to fishers and boaters as it is filled with trout, catfish, bass, crappie, and other fish. Crappie. With eucalyptus forests, grassy meadows, lakeside paths, and hilltop vistas, Lake Chabot offers over 20 miles of hiking trails, which connect to the additional 70 miles of trails in adjoining Anthony Chabot Regional Park, making it a spectacular place to run and also very accessible. Yep. And so the race organizers went on to describe that this is one of our typically faster races with less elevation and some paved sections. The course is designed for those who are looking to PR and those who are less competitive and or just embarking on trail racing. I don't know. It sounds really, really gnarly because it means that I'm going to be passed up, no doubt. So if this is a faster course, then I have no excuse to beat the 8.5 hour time limit for the 50K race. I don't know why I'm hung up over that time limit, the cutoff, but I will just do what I can and have fun along the way. And as soon as somebody can scoop me off of the trail, one way or another, I'll be able to report back and let you know how it went, and from there decide on what the future of my running for the rest of the year will be. How about that? Yeah, that's that. That's it, folks. It's a wrap. Remember to eat something delicious, hug a friend, hug your family, and go run something. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Ruel's Running Podcast with Ruel. If you like what you just heard, share it with your friends and your enemies. Also, be sure to check out the site over at ruelsrunning.com. This has been another Coffee with Heavy Cream production. Join us next time for another silly show of Ruel's Running Podcast.